majority of the details of our entire tradition is hidden within the prophetic narrations of our Prophet ﷺ. And then there comes the naysayers come and say, well, if it's not in the Quran, then it's not important. Well, if it's not in the Quran, it's not important, then why do you believe in Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? If La ilaha illallah is a passport, my father would say, if La ilaha illallah is a passport, then Muhammad Rasulullah is a visa of Jannah. Without one, the other one cannot be complete. One of the greatest things that happened to human life in the world was wahi. The chapter is wahi. One of the greatest things that happened to the Prophet's life was hijrah. He put all of them together in that chapter. The greatest thing that happened to human civilization was wahi, revelation. And the greatest thing, one of the greatest things that happened in the Prophet's life, where if you look at the Prophet's trajectory as a Nabi, as a Prophet who's doing the work, was very stagnant in Makkah. Abused, oppressed. You cannot, basically all you're doing is patch up work for 10, 11 years. People are becoming Muslim, now you're counseling them to stay Muslim. They're suffering, they go to Abyssinia, they're coming back, but they're becoming strong. The people who were in Makkah were one of the strongest people ever, don't get me wrong, but Islam couldn't grow. The Prophet went to Taif, he tried it out. There were 60 Muslims by the time Umar became Muslim, and half of them were already in Abyssinia. So Islam was in Dar al-Arqam, in a small home.
People will ask, because how can you use hadith as an evidence if it wasn't compiled from the Prophet's time? So there was room for human error. It was never written. It was never documented. So how can you use it as conclusive evidence? And again, we're not talking about sahih or da'if. We're just talking about hadith as a complete traditional treasure. So because of that, we have to understand when hadith started being preserved and when it started being compiled.
There's kind of a unique category of hadith. Unique. That they don't even really have to study in terms of its authenticity. These are hadith that are known through what's called tawatur. Tawatur. You might have heard that word before. It's an important word. In fact, I've been researching this for a while. I feel pretty confident that it's almost unique to Islamic civilization. This concept of tawatur. If it existed elsewhere, it was not fully robustly studied. I haven't been able to find it in the Western tradition at all.
We know that the Prophet said, "Man salaka tariqan yaltamisu fihi ilman sahhala Allahu lahu bi tariqan al-jannah," that a person who sets up on the path of learning knowledge, Allah makes now the path to enter Jannah easy for that person. So the easiest way, the path to least resistance, the path of least resistance is just join the path of knowledge. Just get on that path, and as you get on that path, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the path to Jannah easier and easier for you.
He says, I'm summarizing here, those who claim that Muhammad is a liar and try to push the imposter theory, he's an imposter, he said it actually causes more problems than it solves, and it doesn't add up at all. He's not saying he's Muslim, Thomas Carlyle, but he's saying you just can't call him a liar, figure out something else. Because being genuine was something that was undeniable about Muhammad. He said this man, for 50 years of his life, he seemed to be totally a man of perfect integrity. Every neighbor of his, he had won their good favor. He says, how does it make sense that after a lifetime like this and a spotless track record, these are his words, he says, how does he at the end of his life, in old age, overnight, come about with such a horrible lie to go on some ambitious pursuit to convince the world he's a prophet when he's too old to enjoy that anyway? You get it? Imagine someone being ambitious at 60 years old, for example. So this guy is just being ridiculous here. Why are you trying to get rich now? Should have got rich at 20. Yes? If you get rich, you're going to go to Disney World. You can't get on the roller coaster because your back hurts. And you can't have ice cream because the teeth hurt. It doesn't make sense, right? Not now. This is not the age. He's saying he had a perfect track record. And then in an age where he couldn't enjoy, right? As the heat of his life is winding down, he goes, it can't be. He couldn't be making this stuff up. Alayhi salatu wassalam.